Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
It's time once again for Outlaws Gunslingers Remastered. As we're still in the Wild West era of remastering with a subject that we didn't do when we first started this podcast about 4 years ago. Well, we did it. And then we re-recorded them all when we switched to when we were on this podcast network, Creative Control Network, about 3 years ago. But we never re-recorded this one for that one, so this will be the first time even looking at this in 4 years. Well, so should be good stuff. We got Charles Black Bart Boles, who, and we're kind of ran in a little bit of a different area, because this guy operated in North California and Southern Oregon, so Wild West, Pacific North Wild West, right? Right. He's actually, out of all the people that we've done in the Wild West, he's probably got the longest career in, he was mainly a stagecoach robber, and he did about 8 years of doing that. Usually you get like 2 years out of these guys, and that's it. You know?
Maybe.
Oh, no, not maybe. Yeah, old English guy. Born in England, moved over here. So we'll get into his little story. And he's known for being a sophisticated and a gentleman bandit who actually got more famous because he left some poems behind at a couple of his crime scenes. So we'll take a look at those poems, take a look at him, and no violence in this. I don't think there's a single shot fired. Well, oh, no, I lied. Right before he gets captured, obviously. But other than that, nobody killed, nobody nothing. So he's just a regular old run-of-the-mill. He's a Northern English. He's an English guy.
Right.
Hey, mate. Can I please have your money, mate? Right? Is
Right.
that English or is that Australian?
Either way, it's all the same.
Well, kind of.
Still owned by the same people.
Before we get into it, go check out our YouTube at Bang Dang Network, where you can get the full episodes of Outlaws Gunslingers, Battles of the American Civil War, plus shorts, clips, and yeah, that's all over there. And if you guys are interested in our Dart League that we do, we got a whole separate channel for that now that was used to be on our Bang Dang Network, but that's its own channel. We'll link that below as well. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, give us a review. Share us with your friends. Answer that Spotify question. Getting on with Charles Boles, which spelled B-O-L-E-S. But then if you look up his name, it's B-O-W-L-E-S. And then it's also spelled B-O-L-L-E-S sometimes.
Nobody knows.
So, right. He, yeah, during the 1870s and 80s, it was like an 8-year stretch of this guy in Northern California, Southern Oregon. Charles Boles, born in Norfolk, England, to John and Maria Boles. He was the third of 10 children, having 6 brothers, 3 sisters. When he was 2, his parents immigrated to Jefferson County, New York, where his father purchased a farm 4 miles north of Plessis Village in the direction of Alexandria Bay.
Later months of 1849, old Black Bart and his brothers David and James, they headed for California. They wanted to make it big and strike gold. Everybody's going to that gold mine. And
I mean, it's 1849. Call them 49ers for a reason.
after spending the winter of 1849 in Missouri, they continued on to California, where they started prospecting in North Fork of the American River. This is near Sacramento. They traveled back to New York in 1852, but old Black Bart later returned with his brothers David and Robert. Both brothers fell ill shortly after their arrival, and they died. That's a long trek, man.
Right. From New York, especially.
Right. Old Charles Boles remained in California for another 2 years before giving up and returning east again.
He wasn't striking it.
1854. Old Black Bart, who now used this spelling, which is B-O-L-E-S, Boles, he married Mary Elizabeth Johnson. Uh-oh. By 1860, they were living with their 4 children in Decatur, Illinois.
All right, look at that. August 13th, 1862, he enlisted
I wonder why he
as
changed his name with spelling his last name. He didn't want to remember his brothers or something.
I don't know. Maybe, well, they all changed. People always changed their names when they came over here, so people spell or pronounce it right.
Right.
August 13th, 1862, he enlisted in as a private in Company B, 116th Illinois Regiment. His name is indeed spelled B-O-L-E-S in the company record.
No shit.
He was a good soldier and became a first sergeant within a year. He was seriously wounded at the Battle of Vicksburg and took part in Sherman's March to the Sea.
Really?
He received brevet commissions as both second lieutenant and first lieutenant. June 7th, 1865, was discharged with his regiment in Washington, D.C.
How come he's never in our stories?
Because he did nothing. He was just there.
Right.
He returned home at last to his family in Illinois after the war.
At least he came.
Yep.
At least he came back home.
All right. Some wasn't so fortunate.
After this very war, Charles went back to his family in Decatur.
Yep.
Tried his hand at farming once again. This, however, would not last very long because in 1867, he said, you know what? I'm going to prospect for some gold in Idaho. And then if I can't get there, I'm going to Montana.
I'll head up Montana, too. Might as well. They're right there.
Well, while he was there, he located a small mine that he worked with a friend from Missouri. In a surviving letter to his wife from August of 1871, he told her an unpleasant encounter with some Wells Fargo and Company agents. Apparently, they wanted to buy his stake because they wanted the land the mine was located on. Oh, Charles and his friend, they were like, no, we're getting some gold out of this.
We're here?
Bitch. Right. Well, the Wells Fargo agents cut off their water supply, which forced them to abandon their claim.
Fucking bastards.
That's asshole shit right there.
They did some, what you call it?
Some John Dutton shit?
No, I was going to say that, but what they did on the ranch
Oh, right.
to them.
Well,
Bastards. In another letter to his wife, he vowed to exact revenge. His last letter sent to Mary was from Silver Bow, Montana, August 25th, 1871. He had a habit of always sending her letters, and months turned into years from the time he had sent that last one.
oh, no.
Well, Mary heard a rumor that a party of travelers had been killed by Indians. She assumed Charles was with that party and got murdered by them. So she went on with her life.
Now she's like, what are you going to do?
So my buddy Charles, he's dead.
Lost my husband to the west,
Yep.
to the Wild West.
Wouldn't be the only one there, Mary.
Meanwhile, Black Bart, now going by the name of Charles Bolton, he proceeded to rob Wells Fargo stagecoaches at least 28 times across Northern California between 1875 and 1883, including a number of times along the historic Siskiyou Trail between California and Oregon. Siskiyou?
Siskiyou Trail. Although Boles became known for poetic messages left behind after his robberies, he wrote only 2, which we'll see after the 4th and 5th robberies, but this was enough to ensure his fame.
Right.
He was quite successful as a highwayman, often taking in thousands of dollars a year. Boles was afraid of horses, and he fled from all of his robberies on foot.
No shit.
He was very invariably polite, never using foul language except in his poems.
Oh.
And it wasn't really even foul language.
Wow. He dressed in a long linen duster coat and a bowler hat, using a flour
A bowler
sack.
hat, that's what you see
Right.
all the pictures of H.H. Holmes in, that kind of
Right.
hat.
Yeah, the little round
Right.
weird things. He has used flour sack with holes cut for his eyes as a mask. He brandished a shotgun, but reportedly never once fired it during his years as an outlaw. All these became his trademarks, and he quickly gained notoriety. 26th of July, 1875. Black Bart robbed his first stagecoach in Calaveras County, California, on the road between Copperopolis and Milton.
Oh, Copperopolis.
He spoke with a deep and resonant tone as he politely ordered stage driver John Shine to throw down the box.
Shine handed over the strong box. Boles shouted, "If he dares to shoot, give him a solid volley, boys."
Oh.
Seeing rifle barrels pointed at him from the nearby bushes, Shine quickly handed over the box. At this point, a woman passenger offered her purse up to Charles, to which he declined, saying, "I only want those Wells Fargo's goods, ma'am."
See, I like that. Good for you, fucking,
Charlie. Oh, Robin Hood?
yeah, fucking Robin Hood.
Yeah, man, he had a vendetta against these guys.
Right. And it worked
Charles then proceeded to open the box and remove several bags of gold coins and some packages and fled the scene. Shine waited until Boles vanished and then went to recover the empty strong box. But upon examining the area, he discovered that the quote-unquote men with rifles were actually carefully rigged sticks in bushes.
Oh,
Black Bart's first robbery netted him $160.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, in the 70s, yeah.
Right. Go what, $2,000 or so?
Well.
His next robbery occurred December 28th, year 1875. He robbed the stagecoach from North San Juan, Nevada to Marysville, Yuba County, which is also in Nevada, right?
I would assume.
A newspaper related that it was held up by 4 men. This, too, had a description of the lone robber and his trademarks. The 3 other men were in the hills around the stage, and the driver saw their rifles. When the investigators arrived at the scene, they found the rifles used in the heist were nothing more than sticks wedged in the brush.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Well, fast forward to June 2nd, 1876. He robbed another coach 5 miles north of Cottonwood, California. He took the Wells Fargo box and some mail. His fourth robbery happened August 3rd, 1877, and this was the first time he referred to himself as Black Bart.
Oh.
He stopped the stage between Point Arena and Duncan Mills, California, and made off with $300.
Hey,
He's not getting very good return on investments here.
That's decent. He has no. He don't have to buy ammo.
It's true.
He don't got to feed a horse.
Right. This robbery was different because this is the first time he also left behind a poem which read, "I've labored long and hard for bread, for honor and for riches, but on my corns too long you've tread, you fine-haired sons of bitches." It was signed Black Bart, the P08.
He's pissed at those Wells Fargo people.
Yeah.
Some bitch. His next robbery was on 25th of July in the year of 1878. He left his second and last poem. "Here I lay me down to sleep, to wait the coming morrow. Perhaps success, perhaps defeat, and everlasting sorrow. I've labored long and hard for bread, for honor and for riches. But on my corns too long you've tread, you fine-haired sons of bitches."
He's like, you know what? That last one was good. Let's include it in this one, but let's expand upon that.
3 more and you got a song, bud.
Right.
Oh, so he's still going on.
Right.
And it continues. "Let come what will, I'll try it on. My condition can't be worse. And if there's money in that box, 'tis money in my purse. Black Bart."
Well, like he said, that would be the last poem.
What is he, a fucking leprechaun?
I'll be good.
There's money in me purse.
I'll do a little jig. Yep, indeed, that would be the last poem he would leave at a robbery, but his days of holding up stagecoaches wasn't done. Over the next 7 years, like we said, he carried out a couple dozen more, about 28 in all of Wells Fargo coaches. He said, "I ain't messing with nobody but Wells Fargo."
You know what? I'm down with this.
Right.
These guys fucked him over, took his land like a little bitches.
He said, all right, we'll see. October 2nd, 1878, Mendocino County near Ukiah. Bart was seen picnicking along the roadside before the robbery.
Okay.
Oh, good for him. October 3rd, 1878, just a day later in Mendocino County, the stage from Cavello to Ukiah was robbed. Bart walked to the McCreary farm. Oh, okay, so it's the second he was seen picnicking along there,
Right.
and then the next day he robs it. He walked to the McCreary farm and paid for dinner. 14-year-old Donna McCreary provided the first detailed description of Bart. She said he had gray and brown hair, missing 2 of his front teeth, deep-set, piercing blue eyes under heavy eyebrows, slender hands, and intellectual in conversation, well-flavored with polite jokes.
Oh, good for him. I mean, he's just old.
It's just a,
He's a good old boy from across the pond. Good for him. 21st of June, 1879.
Really, he's a Nyaka. He went there when he was 2.
Right. 21st of June, 1879. The stage from LaPorte, Plumas County to Oroville, Buck County. Bart said to the driver, "Sure hope you have a lot of gold in that strong box. I'm nearly out of money." In fact, the stage held no Wells Fargo gold or cash.
Oh,
That sucks. Wow, that put him down for a couple months.
right.
25th of October, 1879. An interstate route was robbed when Bart held up the stage from Roseburg, Douglas County, Oregon, to Redding, Shasta County, California. He stole United States mail pouches on a Saturday night.
What is in these mail pouches? That's
Hopefully some bonds or something.
yeah, but you can't get off of those.
Right.
Sit on those for years.
27th October, just 2 days later, 1879. Another California robbery. The stage from Alturas, Modoc County to Redding, Shasta County. Jim Hume, he was sure that Bart was the one-eyed ex-Ohioan Frank Fox. Why? Why was he sure he was Frank Fox?
Do they have similar? Does Frank Fox guy have similar things as Black?
Who is this Frank Fox guy?
I don't know. He's not clickable, so can't be good.
Oh, wow. He had one eye. You think there'd be a picture or something?
Right. And there's an Ohioan. He's a one eye Ohioan.
Iowan.
July 22nd, 1880, Sonoma County, the stage from Point Arena to Duncan Mills, which was the same location as the one he robbed August 3rd, 1877. Wells Fargo added it to the list when he was captured, though.
Oh.
So, September 1st, 1880, Shasta County, the stage from Weaverville to Redding, near French Gulch. Bart said, "Hurry up. Hurry up the hounds. It gets lonesome in the mountains."
Well,
I'm
so
saying
he
come
wants
after
him-
me pretty
right,
much.
Right.
Right.
Shit.
September 16th, 1880, Jackson County, Oregon, the stage from Roseburg, Oregon to Eureka, not Eureka, but Eureka, California. This is the farthest north Bart is known to have robbed.
Oh.
He's just going everywhere.
Getting it on 23rd September 1880, Jackson County, Oregon. Stage from Eureka to Roseburg. President Rutherford B. Hayes and General William T. Sherman traveled on this stage 3 days later.
Oh, shit.
The 1st of October, a person and in parentheses it says Frank Fox with a question mark, who closely matched the description of Black Bart, was arrested at Elk Creek Station and later released.
So who's this Frank Fox guy?
Right. 20th November 1880 in Siskiyou County. The stage from Reading to Roseburg. This robbery, it failed because of the noise of an approaching stage or because of a hatchet in the driver's hand.
Black Bart's like, I don't want to shoot you, man.
He's like, touche.
Don't these guys have shotgun riders?
I think they would have.
All right, August 31st, 1881, Siskiyou County again. The stage from Roseburg to Eureka. Mail sacks were cut in a T shape, under which was another Bart trademark. Okay. October 8th, 1881, in Shasta County, the stage from Eureka to Reading. Stage driver Horace Williams asked Bart, how much did you make? Bart answered, not very much for the chances I take.
Right.
October 11th, 1881, Shasta County, the stage from Lakeview to Reading was robbed. Lawman Jim Hume kept losing Bart's trail. He can't find him. It's kind of like Pat Garrett trying to chase down old Billy. December 15th, 1881, Yuba County near Marysville. Bart took mailbags and evaded capture due to his swiftness of foot.
Look at that shit.
I mean, it's true. You could probably climb like hillsides quicker without a horse and all that shit. So.
Right. Wow. Look at this guy. December 27th, 1881, in Nevada County. In Nevada County? Mm-hmm. In Nevada County, the stage from North San Juan to Smartsville. Nothing much was taken in this one. But Black Bart was wrongly blamed for another stage robbery in Smartsville.
Okay. January 26th. Oh, no.
Nope. January 26th, 1882, Mendocino County. The stage from Ukiah to Cloverdale. Again, the posse was on his tracks within the hour. And again, they lost him after Kelseyville. Mm-hmm. June 14th, 1882, Mendocino County. The stage from Little Lake to Ukiah. Hiram Willits, postmaster of Willitsville, which is present-day Willits, California. He was on this stage.
Okay, good for him. July 13th, 1882, Plumas County, the stage from LaPorte to Oroville. The stage was loaded with gold, and George Hackett, who was the driver, was armed. Bart lost his derby, which I'm assuming was like a handkerchief or something, and as he fled the scene, when it was determined that the Wells Fargo agent in LaPorte had supplied hardware to bolt down the strongbox.
Oh, look at that.
His derby was traced to him eventually through the laundry mark. Yeah, it's got to be like a...
All right.
Yeah. The same stage was again held up in Forbestown, and Hackett blasted the would-be robber into the bushes. This was mistakenly blamed on Bart as well.
Oh, shit.
Well, they got him, though. Or did they not kill him?
Right. 17th September, 1882, Shasta County. Stage from Eureka to Reading. A repeat of the 8th of October, 1881 robbery. Same stage, place, and driver. But Black Bart got only a few dollars this time.
Look at this guy. He's just going right back to it.
November 24th, 1882, Sonoma County. The stage from Lakeport to Cloverdale, the longest 30 miles in the world. April 12th, 1883, Sonoma County. Stage from Lakeport to Cloverdale, another repeat of the last robbery.
Jeez.
June 23rd, 1883, Amador County. The stage from Jackson to Ione.
This dude's just robbing all of them, getting like a little bit, and a little bit, I guess.
Does he letting these people know why? Like, hey, man, I'm nothing here for you. I just need to get back at these Wells Fargo motherfuckers.
Maybe. Doubt it. It's like... Just drop it, and you won't get hurt.
All right.
Well, unfortunately for him, his last holdup took place November 3rd, 1883, at the site of his first robbery on Funk Hill, southeast of the present town of Copperopolis. Boles wore a flour sack mask with 2 eye holes. Driven by Reason Meccano, the stage had crossed the Reynolds Ferry on the old road from Sonora to Milton. The driver stopped at the ferry to pick up Jimmy Roleri, who was a 19-year-old son of the ferry owner. Roleri had his rifle with him and got off at the bottom of the hill to hunt along the creek and meet the stage on the other side of the hill.
Okay. Fantastic. He arrived at the western end. He found that the stage was not there, and he began walking up the stage road. Near the summit, he saw the stage driver and its team of horses. McConnell, he told him that the stage had approached the summit. Old Black Bart had stepped out from behind a rock with a shotgun in his hands. He forced McConnell to unhitch the team and take them over the crest of the hill. Old Black Bart then attempted to remove the strong box, but it had been bolted to the floor of the coach and took some time to remove it.
Well, meanwhile, Roleri McConnell went over the crest and saw Boles exiting the stage with the strong box. McConnell grabbed Roleri's rifle and fired at Boles twice but missed. Roleri then took the rifle back and fired as Boles ran into a thicket, then stumbled as if he had been hit.
Uh-oh.
Roleri and McConnell followed Boles into the thicket, and they found a small blood-stained bundle of mail he had dropped. Boles had been wounded in the hand.
Oh.
After running a quarter of a mile, he stopped, wrapped up his hand in a handkerchief, and then that was to control the bleeding.
Okay, fantastic. Good for you, guy. He found a rotten log and stuffed the sack with the gold into it, keeping $500 in gold coins for himself.
Nice.
Old Black Bart hid the shotgun in a hollow tree, threw everything else away, and he fled. In a manuscript written by stage driver McConnell about 20 years after the robbery, he claimed he fired all 4 shots at Black Bart.
I bet he would.
The first missed, but he thought the second or third shot hit him. And he was certain that the 4th shot hit him good. Black Bart only had the single wound to his hand, though.
Well, regardless, he got hit once.
Did they ever find that gold?
I don't know. When Boles
they had to if they know he should have.
Right, you would think, right. When Boles was wounded and forced to flee, he left behind several personal items. These included his eyeglasses, some food, and a handkerchief with a laundry mark FX07. Detective James B. Hume and Wells Fargo found these at the scene. Hume and Detective Harry N. Morse visited every laundry in San Francisco, inquiring about the laundry mark. After contacting around 90 laundries, the handkerchief was traced to Ferguson and Biggs California Laundry on Bush Street. Discovered that the handkerchief belonged to a man who lived in a modest boarding house. Uh-oh, they're on to you.
Wow. Then detectives, they learned that Black Bart claimed to be a mining engineer and made frequent business trips that coincided with the Wells Fargo robberies. After initially denying that he was Black Bart, old Boles eventually admitted that he had robbed several Wells Fargo stages, though he confessed only to crimes committed before 1879. Old Black Bart apparently believed the statute of limitations had expired on those robberies. Mm-hmm. When booked, he gave his name as T.Z. Spaulding, but the police found a Bible, a gift from his wife, inscribed with his real name.
Come on, guy. The police report said that Boles was a quote-unquote a person of great endurance, exhibited genuine wit under most trying circumstances, and was extremely proper and polite in behavior. He excused profanity. Wells Fargo only pressed charges on the final robbery. I mean, that's the only one you can really prove.
Right.
Boles was convicted in 1884 and sentenced to 6 years in San Quentin, but he was released January 1888 on good behavior.
Oh, look at that shit. That worked out.
His health had deteriorated during his time in prison.
That
He had
sucks.
visibly aged. His eyesight was failing. He had gone deaf in one ear.
Oh, damn.
Upon his release, he was swarmed by reporters and asked if he had plans to rob any more stagecoaches. He said, "No, gentlemen." He said, smiling, "I'm through with crime."
I mean, he cost those guys a lot of grief.
Right.
But not enough. I mean, come on. Could have got a lot of gold out of that.
I mean, I'm sure he did. The motherfucker got away for 8 years.
Right, but his plot could have been supplying gold for years.
It's true. If you never would have got...
No, you're never going to get it.
If you never would have got greedy and just said, fuck that box that was bolted down.
Right.
Either that or this is the second or third time he encountered a bolted down box. Take a hatchet with you. My man. My man.
Right. Or just kill the freaking drivers and take a stagecoach.
Why? He would have ended up way worse. He only got 8 years, 6 years or whatever now for 28 robberies.
Well, for one.
Oh, that's right. True. Only for one. That's a lot.
After being released from prison, you'd think he would run home to see his old lady. But guess what? He decided not to, and he never went back. Although he did write some letters.
She's like, what the fuck?
And one of them...
Thought she was dead.
Right. In one of the letters, he wrote that he was tired of being shadowed by Wells Fargo. He felt demoralized, and he wanted to get away from everybody.
Yeah, because as soon as he got out of prison, they were probably watching him like a hawk.
Right. The last known sighting of Boles/Black Bart was February 28th, 1888. Hume said Wells Fargo tracked him to the Visalia House Hotel in Visalia. Why they kept on tracking him? They're just keeping an eye on this.
Keep an eye on him. Make sure there ain't nothing else. He ain't going to rob nothing else.
The owner said a man answering the description of Boles had checked into the motel and then was never seen again. I think he killed himself.
Well, November 14th, 1888, another Wells Fargo stage was robbed by a masked highwayman. The lone bandit left a verse that read, "So here I've stood while wind and rain have set the trees a-sobbing and risked my life for that box that wasn't worth the robbing." Wow. Detective Hume was called to examine the note. After comparing it with the handwriting of genuine Black Bart poetry, he declared the new holdup was indeed the work of a copycat.
I mean,
was it though? Unless he wrote it with his left hand, or that would have been smart of him.
Wow, Victoria Tudor, the Marysville Cemetery Commissioner, has said that Boles had lived in Marysville, California in later life, working as a pharmacist.
Oh, look at that!
It is believed his grave is located in the Marysville Cemetery in Marysville. Boles is also rumored to have been buried in
Boles.
Boles. Black Bart is also rumored to be buried in an unmarked grave in Knight's Landing Cemetery in Knight's Landing, which is in California. Johnny Thacker, a Wells Fargo detective who had participated in Black Bart's arrest, said that in the year of 1897, he believed Boles had gone to live in Japan.
New York newspaper.
What made him think that?
Who knows? I think he went to Japan. A New York newspaper allegedly wrote an obituary for Charles E. Boles, a Civil War veteran in 1917. Others believed he returned to some old mining camps. One legend says that he returned to robbing stagecoaches, and Wells Fargo offered him a pension of $200 a month if you just leave our stages alone, man.
No shit.
Wells Fargo, of course, has denied this.
Yeah, but $200 a month in 1917 is not very much.
Well, it wouldn't have been 1917. It would have been in 1888.
Oh, right. That would have work.
Right.
Well, Black Bart, like many of his contemporaries, he read dime novel style series adventure stories, which appeared in local newspapers. Early 1870s, Sacramento Union, they ran a story called The Case of Summerfield by Caxton, which is a pseudonym of William Henry Rhodes. Is he a famous author?
I'm assuming he wrote a bunch of those dime novel things in the papers back then.
In the story, the villain, dressed in black, had a long, unruly black hair, a large black beard, and wild gray eyes. The villain, named Black Bart, robbed Wells Fargo stagecoaches and brought great fear to those who were unlucky enough to cross him. Well, Black Bart may have read the Sacramento Union story. He told a Wells Fargo detective that the name popped into his head when he was writing the first poem, and he used it. Oh, so that story came out before.
Right.
Okay.
In some areas where Black Bart operated, notably Redwood Valley, California, there's a traditional annual Black Bart parade featuring a man dressed as Black Bart, playing him as a stereotypical Old West villain. Also in Redwood Valley, California, the road leading from California State Route 20 to Hell's Delight Canyon is called Black Bart Trail. There's a large rock at the side of Highway 101 on the Ridgewood summit between Redwood Valley and Willits, known by locals as Black Bart Rock.
Nice.
Though it's not the actual rock behind which Black Bart was reputed to have hidden while robbing stagecoaches. That one had been lost in a series of highway improvements over the years.
Oh, idiots.
So,
Wow. Duncan Mills, California. There's a plaque. It commemorates Black Bart and featuring his first poem. In Oroville, there's a road named Black Bart Road, as well as a stone mortar monument with a description of a robbery that took place at that very scene. South Lake Tahoe, there is a Black Bart Avenue off of Pioneer Trail commemorating his poems. In San Andreas, California, there's an inn that's named for him. It's called the Black Bart Inn.
okay.
Nice. Look at this guy.
Right. Black Bart's life and exploits and his pursuit and capture by Hume and Morse are the subject of the 2017 novel.
You don't see an Ed Gein saloon.
Gein?
The Ed Gein Inn.
Maybe.
Ed Gein. Nobody knows how to say his name.
It's Gein. Black Bart's life and exploits and his pursuit and capture by Hume and Morse are the subject of the 2017 novel The Ballad of Black Bart by Lauren D. Esselman.
Fantastic.
The book was named Best Fiction in its True West Best of the West 2008 Western Books by True West Magazine.
Fantastic.
The first full-length biography is Gentleman Bandit, the true story of Black Bart, the Old West's most infamous stagecoach robber, written by John Bossenecker and published by Hanover Square Press in 2023. That's it?
Wow.
Holy shit. That took a long time.
Oh, Black Bart, he's a character in La Diligence, which is called the Stagecoach in American. It was created by Morris and Goscinny, a Lucky Luke comic book from 1968.
Okay.
Dan Doria, he starred as Black Bart in a 1948 film produced by Universal Studios called Black Bart. 1954, Arthur Space. He go, you know what? I'm going to play Black Bart in the episode of Jim Davis's syndicated Western television series, Stories of the Century. Oh, Black Bart is also a character in Bob Clark's 1983 film, everybody knows it, Christmas Story, though he was only a figment of Ralphie Parker's imagination.
Yeah, everybody knows the scene. They're all jumping over the fence and he shoots them. Yeah. Oh, Ralphie, you saved us.
Right.
A South Park episode, Casa Bonita, Season 7, Episode 11, includes an area known as Black Bart's Cave amongst the features of the famous theme restaurant. Okay. Cool. 1917 film, Romance of the Redwoods. The leading male character is a highwayman named Black Brown. The movie largely parallels Black Bart's life, such as the Northern California setting, the rigging sticks on rocks to give the impression that a group of armed men are aiming at the stagecoach, and the character of Brown being shot in the hand. He inspired the Blue Lotus album Across the Canyon. The song Black Bart is on the 10th track of the 2013 album Outlaw Gentlemen and Shady Ladies, of heavy metal band Volbeat. And obviously, to this day, nobody knows what actually happened to that son of a bitch.
Right.
Did he die in 1888? Did he go on to rob some coaches? Did he stay? Did he become a pharmacist? What did he do? Whatever he did, we don't know.
Yeah, he tried sticking it to the man, and it worked out for a little while.
I mean, he did good. Did what he had to do.
Right.
Didn't shoot nobody. Didn't kill nobody.
Right.
Didn't get killed. And probably lived a long, nice little life after he got out of prison.
If it wasn't for them starting to bolt down the boxes, it probably would have kept on rolling.
Right. He probably would have done it well into the 1900. Well,
He would have been old then.
if he did die in 1917, like the New York thing said, he would have been like, what, 88? So.
All right, 50 in the late 70s, early 80s.
Well, you see, he was born in 1929.
Right.
So he's 50
When he
got out of prison. So
He was 60 when he got out.
50,
88.
60 when he got out. So he could have lived another couple years. But either way, that's Black Bart's story. Nothing too crazy for him.
I don't know. 60 years old. Pretty damn old back then, especially doing 4 years in prison. It takes a lot of years off your life.
Maybe that 4 years in prison saved him. You know? Yeah. That's old Black Bart's story.
Old Black Bart. He did things. I mean,
good for him.
I was down for his cause. Except if you're going to do something, you got to go 100%, and he didn't.
What, kill?
No. I'm saying, go hundo
What is a hundo?
and do it.
He did it.
Be prepared.
He was prepared.
After that first lockbox, he should have been prepared there and then out.
Well, what are you going to do, right? Either or.
He was like, damn, bolting down. Oh, shit. I better,
My last name is Charles Bolton. Yeah, well, he did enough to get remembered 150 years later. So
You know, if old Wells Fargo would have just freaking took no for an answer and been like, all right, dude, we'll just build around you, bud.
right, he probably actually that might have actually saved his life because he probably would have died when he was 40,
Working in the gold mines.
working some mines or farming or some shit like that.
That's rough. That's a rough life, man.
Right. So good for you, Wells Fargo. You saved his life, and you. I mean, they really didn't. Would he take $300 at a time? I mean, come on, $500 at a time.
He disrupted mail. He took mail.
That's true. A lot of people didn't get their notarized
It screwed up a bunch of
letters.
shit. It screwed up a bunch of shit.
Right, and then gives Wells Fargo a bad
Bad name,
reputation.
yeah.
Nobody wants to ship with them no more.
Like, dude,
Oh, I
what the
guess.
hell?
You know, so good for you, Charlie. Charles Bart Black Boles Black Bart Bolton.
You let a guy with a cap gun fucking rob your shit.
That'll wrap up this episode. Black Bart Remastered. I mean, they can't all be. They can't all be Hell's Angels, guys.
They all can't kill it. They're all not gonna kill it.
So I mean, history nonetheless, and he's still being talked about to this day. So good for you, Charlie. We'll be back.
I'm gonna write a movie about this guy.
Oh, yeah?
and it's gonna make everybody paint him as a hero.
I guess he kind of was, right?
Yeah,
For the
yeah.
little people,
Right, for the little people, for the gold miners.
for the gold miners.
That's what this movie's called.
The
for,
gold
for the gold
for
miners.
the gold miners. We're back next week for serial killers. Not sure which one. Oh, we do know which one. His name is Dean Coral.
Oh,
Guys, anybody familiar with this? He killed a minimum of 28 teenage boys and young men between 70 and 73.
yeah, this guy.
He had two teenage accomplices, David Owen Brooks and Elmer Wayne Henley, the latter of which ended up murdering Dean Coral himself after a wild night that gets even more wild. It sounds wild just saying it, but it gets even more wild, trust me. And
Yeah, this guy is. This is a hell of a story here.
yeah. He would use he'd use the boys to lure like their friends and shit to him and give them like $200 per person, and all sorts of weird ass shit happened once they were in the house. So we're gonna cover that guy next, and then wrap up the month before we head back into the Mafia the week after that. So stay with us here on Outlaws and Gunslingers. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube at Bang Dang Network. Give us a review on Apple, Spotify. Answer the Spotify question. Share us with your friends. We'll be back next week for Dean Arnold Coral, serial killer, sex offender. Well, back then, word of mouth misdemeanors. We misdemeanors.